below as we're watching the action today. Of course, as long as we're hanging out below Friday's low, then, the burden to bear is, on the bulls to try to get the market up. But, we're bearish as long as we hang out under that level, but if we start to break back over, then it's just a fake breakdown. And so we'll have to be able to watch both ways. We've essentially wiped out those gains from Friday, and now we're even wiped them out and then some. So that'll be something, we're all going to be having to watch. SPY, same type of deal. You're going to get the same type of patterns. You're right at Friday's low on the SPY. So even though it looks like the world's ending, sometimes when you see a market down this way, remember like your key support levels that you're watching on the SPY and the QQQs. If they start to hold, or you do a shake and bake, right? A shake and bake is even more powerful. Shake and bake is like when you break under, then you break back over and squeeze the bad boy. We do shake and bakes in this market a lot. Like Friday was a shake and bake. You break under the old low, and you're thinking like, oh, hot damn, right? Like, here we go. Market's just going to crater all day. And then you bust back over, and it can start a squeeze. So we'll have to be aware of those kind of levels when we're watching the individual market. On a day like today, best thing to do is have, ETFs and stuff right on your watch list. You don't necessarily need to get too cute with things. You're going to have $5, $6, $7 range just on the ETF. So, top watches for today, TVIX, obviously already intraday trender. Man, I almost took this thing right around here too. The pre. Look at this sucker go. So one thing with TVIX carry is that, you never want to chase this thing at HODs. TVIX always works a little bit better on a deeper consolidation or a little bit of a pullback. I'll pull back and go. That's when this thing is really going to work. If you look at LABD here, you've got a kind of a 1 month to 1.5 month range that's been developing here at 23. I would say 2360 to 2350. So you're right at that sweet spot at the open. There's a good shot that something like this can kind of boost over and release its next stage here. And there have been some news with some of these drug companies just getting busted here. So that's going to put a little bit of pressure on the biotechs too. Teva's got some news out here. Among 20 drug companies sued for price fixing. Shocker, right? This thing used to be like $100. I think this one has got a chance. We'll keep this one on watch. It's already starting to trend down pre-market. Issue with Teva is that it moves thick. It moves very thick. So, when you're in it, like, don't expect to move like, like Yelp trades thin, right? Because its float is really low. So, like, when you take, like, say, an ORB on a stock like a Yelp, or a UBNT or something like that that's thinner in profile, it can drop like dollars in like a few minutes because the float on it's low and there's always like a little bit of a spread. So you get a different type of action. Teva's got a monstrous float. Like, even though it's dropped from $80, right? $80 down to 14, it's still a $15 billion company. Good Lord, right? So it just grinds. It grinds when it goes down due to the float on it. Doesn't mean that it can't go. It can trend all day. The one thing that happens with the higher float stock, they do have a little bit more likelihood to trend all day because they just kick the algos in these kind of stocks and they can just keep them on for the whole day. So something just to kind of watch on this one. I've got Yelp on watch here. Watch this 33 spot, guys. This is essentially just a day-long consolidation play, right? When you get like a base from the previous day and you dust under it the next day, that just triggers a day-long consolidation play. You can definitely keep something like that, on your watch list. Obviously, Etsy's the same kind of deal. You can see here, right? Like this 60 spot, 1 test, 2 test, 3 test, 4 test. You're starting to creep under it a little bit. You can see on the daily that the 60 is also a key spot. If that happens, we could kind of come back into this range, into the 55, 57 range. It does move pretty well, and it is liquid. I think liquidity is going to be really important today. You don't want to get yourself stuck in something that doesn't have has a spread. If you play stuff that has a spread today and the market's tanking, the bid will drop out and you're going to have to sell at a spot that you don't want to sell to. Like ZM does that a lot. The bid will just drop out on it. Like you'll think you see like some little flag, and then, they drop the bid on it, and all of a sudden you're just left, holding your dick essentially. So you got to be careful, like when you're playing some of these bad boys. Hey Timmy, hey Ernie, what's up? Irvin, what's going on? Miss Gifford, how are you? Danny, how are you? I can't even say the word condemnation films. I don't even know what that means. But I can't even say that out loud. So I just say, we're going to call you Tom, and from now on. Tom of Condemnation Films. Kevin, how you doing? Tommy, how you doing? So like this type of stuff is awesome. If the market starts to rebound, man, this thing's going to break out, right? But we can't just, if the market's still red on the day and we feel like there's selling pressure, even if this thing starts to creep, I can't take it, because if the bid starts to pull on this thing, it ends up just being like nasty. So I like the chart a lot, but we're going to have to watch this one. We'll still keep JMIA on the watch list too, as long as it holds over 18. We had that 6 squeeze on Friday. Man, that was a nice one. We're coming back here. Maybe we'll double bottom at 18. We'll see. This thing is obviously a huge turd at this point, so we can't put too much faith into it. Lift is another one that's a bear flag here. You can see like you got multiple tests over here, and then you consolidate it under the breakdown level. This one's got range and liquidity, which makes it a fun trader. In general, if you can get a stock that does like this much volume, but it can move like 4 or 5 points, that's a rare occurrence. Like that's a stock that like you always want to keep on your list. There's very few stocks that are like not super big float that also have like a ton of volume and liquidity. I like this one a lot. Man, look at this TVIX go. This thing doesn't want to wait for us, does it? Bastard. You had a couple flags you could have hit on the pre-market. Hey, Anthony, what's up, baby? What's going on? And then the rest of the list, as always, keep all these IPOs on the list, but we're not going to be touching these unless we start to get a market bounce. Same type of deal like BYND. You're on 3-day pullback. We start to come in on a day 4. I think that's going to be, that's nice. You're already seeing this thing kind of push into the red to green, but I mean, unless the market ripped, and started bouncing at the open, that one's going to be a little bit tough one to trust. So you just have to be a little bit careful with it. Miss Gifford, it's good to see you. So name of the game today is liquidity. Keep all the ETFs on your watch list. Make sure that you stay out of thin stocks, and get a trading buddy. If you're sitting around just trading by yourself, get a trading buddy, or hop on Gmail chat with somebody, because these are days where you can catch yourself getting in trouble. What happens when there's a lot of volatility in the market, it snakes you into thinking you're going to have big day, right? And then you end up trading bigger in size than you want to, and that never works, right? On a day where there's like a lot of volatility, you want to trade smaller and let the range of the market pay you versus your trading size. When the market is less volatile, sometimes you have to add size because you don't have to, you're not going to get all the range. So just something to be mindful of. Let's go do what we do. There's a lot of, man, there's like some heaters.